Hi, we're back for another edition of Fact or Fiction. I'm attorney Justin Elsner. Today's Fact or Fiction is a question of whether collision and accident are the same thing. Well, that is a fiction. They're the same thing. They are completely different. Accident is a term that a lot of us use just kind of in our day-to-day conversations about collisions between vehicles. We also use it if we spill some milk on the floor. Oh, that was an accident. I didn't mean to spill that. Insurance companies love that word because when you think about the word accident, it means nobody's at fault. It just kind of happened. Whereas collision is really a word that connotates some sort of responsibility. And it's actually the proper word to use. In state statutes, we use the word collision. If you are in a crash with another vehicle, a police officer will write a collision report. He doesn't write an accident report. And that is because generally somebody is at fault. Somebody did something wrong, and that's why we call it a collision and not an accident. So why is this important? Because the insurance company, throughout the whole process of handling your case, wants to minimize their fault, their responsibility. And so if they call it an accident, then you start to think, well, I guess this happens, and nobody wanted this to happen. Nobody's really at fault. But that is not the reality. Somebody was negligent and they caused the collision. This is because if we keep going down this road of accident, if you end up in court and you have to go in front of a jury, the defense will try and make it seem like, well, this person, they're nice, they have a family, they didn't want this to happen, it was just an accident. So, don't award the plaintiff, the injured person, any money because it really wasn't anybody's fault. And that is the first thing from the truth. In court, we are proving who is at fault. That's why it is a collision. The person who caused the collision is at fault, and they have to compensate the injured person for all of their losses. The way it impacts your case of saying the difference between accident and collision is if you go ahead and accept the insurance company's language of accident, then it starts to minimize their responsibility. And that's not what you want to do. You don't want to let them have the upper hand in those kind of negotiations or arguments in court. No, there was a collision. It is somebody's fault that the collision happened, and they have to compensate for those losses. It's not saying they meant to or this was intentional, and collisions do happen, and it happens in life. But that person who caused the collision has to take responsibility. Generally, that's in the form of the insurance company paying you for your losses. And so it is really important to understand those differences and to make sure you don't forget if somebody injured you, it wasn't an accident, it was a collision.